Hey everyone, it is the last week of February and I am getting ready to meal prep one last time this month. And I am skipping going to the grocery store because I want to make that budget goal. So it's going to be not my most inventive meal prepping ever, but I'm going to get her done. And I'll show you what I'll be up to. And I just wanted to share with you really quickly my thoughts for moving forward in March because I gave myself that extra 25 for any great stock up slash staple deals that came along, and I spent every penny of that in addition to my $80 a month budget that I had set out for produce and dairy. I really feel like I've got to buckle down in March. Praise the Lord, I don't need a thing. I've got stocked up on baked goods, for sure don't need anything in that category, and goodness knows I don't need anything in the meats category. So really I'm still just stocking up on fresh produce and dairy, and that's it. But zero budget for any great staples that come along. Unless butter happens to go super, super cheap, which what are the odds of that, right? I don't think I have to worry about that one. But that's about the only thing I can think of that I'd like to get a little more stocked up on. But I know I have plenty of that to get me through for at least 2, maybe 3 weeks. So we'll see what we can do in March. My goal is $80 tops for the produce and the dairy. And then just to try to really clear some more stuff out of that side by side and hopefully come up with something a little bit inventive to give myself some jus in the kitchen, because I don't know about you all, but I got that ho-hum kind of mentality. I just was not motivated to get in the kitchen today and get with it and start meal prepping, but we do what we have to do, right? So let me show you what I'm going to whip up for the coming week. And you all be sure and comment down below how you did in January and February for your pantry challenges and let me know, okay? So let's get going on this meal prepping and see what I can come up with. I did manage to eat all of my meal preps last week, so now my cupboard is spare, metaphorically speaking, and it's time to cook. I'm going to start with making some whole wheat or 5-grain bread. And this is a recipe I've never tried before. It has oat bran, flaxseed, whole wheat, regular flour, and the usual cast of characters when you make bread, yeast, etc. I've got my dough made up, but now I'm rolling it into a log and folding the ends in according to directions. Now, the recipe said it made a 9x5 pan, one pan, or two 8x4 pans. Well, I forgot to get a picture of it, but that was a huge bowl of dough after it finished raising. And I decided, I'm going to go for 2 pans here. I'm not trying to make ginormous sandwich bread. I just like to have a little bread on the side of my meal, or maybe a little peanut butter toast now and then. I don't need giant slices. So, for the sake of not having an out of control loaf of bread in the oven, I divided it into 2, and I'm glad I did. And this recipe calls for sprinkling a mixture of seeds over the top. I decided to go ahead and do it before the bread started raising. I was just afraid that brushing the butter on might, kind of kill the rise. And so I'm just hedging my bets here. And I think it would have been fine after the fact to wait until it had finished raising. And I did end up sprinkling a few more seeds on the bread after it finished raising, but I didn't attempt to brush any butter on it. So this is a mix of pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, a little bit of the oat bran and flax seed. And I've got that sprinkled all over. And now I'm going to put the usual saran wrap on top and set these on top of my oven and let it raise for, the recipe says, 35 to 45 minutes until double in bulk. Because I mouthed through all my meal preps last week, I'm digging in my bits and bites bin for this pork stir fry I threw in there. And it was delicious reheated, you guys, even if I do say so myself. Now I'm out in my garage getting some of this Springer Mountain Farms pre-cooked grilled chicken out. As you can see, I have a ton of it. It is such good quality, and the reason why I have so much is because I got it on a BOGO with coupons. Y'all know me, but I need to be better about using this on the regular, and it is so good. So I'm going to make a salad and use that to top it, and then I am going to get on the meal prepping. So back in the kitchen, I've decided I need a couple different flavor profiles to get myself wound up for cooking. And I got this lemon risotto kit for Christmas, and that sounds wonderful. So I'm going to give that a go. I've never tried making it before, but I'm looking forward to trying it. And I'm going to pair it with this salmon from Aldi and some butternut squash, which I'll roast on a pan in the oven. And I've also decided I will make this kielbasa sheet pan dinner. It's really a go-to for us, or I should say for me now. It used to be for us when my kids were still living here. And for my salad, I'm going to do a fall salad with shaved Brussels sprouts and chopped apples, pecans, and I'm chopping up this broccoli. I'm going to put part of it in a dish on its own to pair with the salmon and butternut squash for a couple of meals. And the rest will go in the kielbasa sheet pan. This has a ton of veggies in it. It's got peppers, really any veggie you want to put in there, of course. But I like colorful peppers because they're so full of vitamin C and whatnot. And I've got some in the fridge left over from my Aldi run a week ago. And then I'm going to slice up some of these carrots that have been riding in there at least a month. And now half an onion. The other half will just go in the fridge. And of course, this sheet pan dinner holds up so well in the fridge. I'm making enough to last for at least 5 meals, 2 or 3 of which I'll end up eating at work because my salad's only going to be big enough for 2 meals. So call it a couple of lunches and 2 or 3 dinners. I'm chopping up the kielbasa. I like to put it in like half moon sizes. I'm going to toss that in there. And you could season this dish any way you like. I usually go with olive oil, Italian seasoning, garlic, basic, simple stuff. But you could go Cajun style or whatever taste preference you prefer. So I've got all these spices out, and it basically takes about a tablespoon of each spice: garlic powder, onion powder, Italian seasoning, thyme, salt, and pepper. I'm going to pour in about a third of a cup of olive oil, and then I'll put in my spices and herbs. Won't make you watch me do every single one of those for the sake of keeping this video shorter. And now I'm going to put in about a tablespoon of minced garlic. You can never have too much garlic, in my opinion. I'm going to give it a good stir around. You want just enough oil so that everything has a faint gloss but not drippy with oil, because the meat itself will cook out some oil onto the pan. And spread everything out really well. You want as much room as you can between the veggies. You don't want them stacked on top of each other. So my salmon and my butternut squash turned out great. I cooked that at the same time I cooked the kielbasa. It looks like the lemon risotto turned out wonderful. And this broccoli is so green. I don't know why, but oh my goodness, that's probably the best broccoli I've ever had from Aldi. And my sheet pan turned out terrifically. I love maximizing my oven time. And this salmon tasted so good. I don't know why, but that Mediterranean salmon from Aldi is the best. And here's a peek at my salad. I forgot to film making it. And here's a look at my bread as it's getting ready to raise. And here it is after about 45 minutes of raising on top of the stove. It's ready to go, and I'm really glad I put it in 2 pans. Can you imagine if I'd put it all in one? That would have been all over my oven, is what I predict. Or taller than my oven, maybe. So now she's going in to bake, and these turned out really well. I can't say they're the prettiest breads I've ever made, but for saying it's got a lot of fiber and whole wheat, it really did turn out to have a fantastic flavor and a nice consistency. So I was really pleased with the spread. And I finished up by making some pumpkin blondies. These are delicious. Half of them are going to work with me because they're too delicious. I'm a sucker for these things, but you gotta have a little sweet. Well, that wraps up my slapdash meal prep for the week, but at least I got her done, right? Next week, I think I'll do a spice bits of bites edition. Maybe throw some condiments in there too. And I hope you all were able to accomplish everything you wanted to for the weekend and are looking forward to the week ahead. I appreciate y'all stopping in here, and I will see you all on the next one.